So in this third video with Craig Hubbard from Shambhala Farms in Noosa in Queensland, we're taking a trailer full of Craig's living soil recipe to my backyard garden beds, combined with some important products and seedlings that we're purchasing from Bunnings, our Australian home improvement and building superstore. We're also going to be looking at the difference between growing seeds versus seedlings, looking at different variations of popular fruits and vegetables, and introducing the purpose of using sugarcane mulch, as well as giving you tips and tricks from Craig's 12-week online course on what it takes to create your own backyard organic garden. All right, guys, we are now arrived at my place, so we'll give you a bit of a rundown and show you the garden beds that I've got set up already. And this is our loot that we got here today at Bunnings, which for those of you that don't know is like a big sort of a superstore here in Australia. That's the equivalent of, what is it the equivalent of in the United States, babe? Home Depot. There you go. We've got an American on the camera there, so that helps out with that for the Americans watching. But I'm pretty excited about this, Craig, to be honest, because there's like a huge variety of all this awesome food that I'm really excited to get growing. But we've got sugarcane mulch, we've got a little bit of extra fertilizer, which I had bought previously to getting all of this, so I wouldn't really have needed to buy this because of the soil that Craig has got. His living soil recipe is like, it's everything in one, really. And then there's some other little secret elements of his four-part recipe that you can learn about in his course that he's also got for today as well. But what we might do is maybe we'll go around and we'll have a look at the beds so we can just see the size of what it is that I've created here in the backyard. Craig can talk about if what's good about or bad about the soil that we've already got. Well, yeah, actually, before we do that, why don't we just have a quick look at some of the actual things that we've bought here, and maybe just give us your scoop on sun versus no sun, and if all of this sort of stuff is okay for certain types of temperature and whatnot. So
it's always good to have a look on your label, and we were talking about to start your garden, go and buy seedlings. It's worth it. I have had people think that to be a gardener you have to grow from seed, and I want to dispel that myth. I think grow from seedlings. As a professional farmer, we would always buy from seedlings. We would have a selection that we would start from ourselves, but that's a whole discipline on its own. Yep. And it takes a long time to get your seed to that stage. This is about a 4-week level, right, where if we put this in the ground, it's ready to grow. So we'll have a lot more success, and my intention is to help gardeners to get a thriving, successful garden and get a harvest as quick as possible.
And seeds obviously can be a lot cheaper than buying seedlings. Correct. But really, to get all of this outside of what you brought from your farm, and outside of the fertilizer, all of these other little things that I didn't have, like shovels and forks and sea sole and a couple of other things here. This wasn't bought today. That was all around about just less than $100. Yeah. So then, so we've got a little bit of oregano. We've got basil, but there's like 4 different types there. We've got some chili habaneros because I love my hot stuff.
So this one, I was saying to put a fence around it because you don't want little kids coming and eating that way.
And then we've got some capsicum, carrots, purple carrots, edible flowers.
Nasturtiums,
nasturtium.
Really great energy boost, great in salad, and they also bring good bugs and bring colour into the garden.
That's
cherry
definitely
roses.
The flower of the day. Cherry. We've got a mulberry tree which I'm going to plant separate from Craig's farm. We've got, what have we got there, mate? Some cos lettuce.
These are marigolds, spring onions here, some cos lettuce, some Asian greens, some pak choi, bok choy, coriander, and red oak lettuce there. And this is not going to be the final selection, and we're going to see which are working, which are not, and we're going to just put more of that. If something's not working, then it's not a failure. We're just going to put a new thing in there, and eventually there'll be things that will be perennial, that they'll keep coming back, like the
Can you explain that on camera as well, like for people, perennial versus non-perennial?
So you've got perennial, meaning it's always there, or it'll come back every year. So strawberries are perennial. So each year they're going to keep growing strawberries, and that's going to get bigger.
You don't have to pull them out, they don't die. Correct. They just sit there the whole year.
Some perennials will die off and then they'll come back again. And then you've got your annuals, And generally most veggies fall into their annuals, meaning we're going to plant them, like coriander, we'll plant it, we'll harvest it, and then we'll need to plant more to get more coriander. Just succession planting, harvesting and replanting every couple of weeks, every sort of 4 to 6 weeks. You'll put a few new things in. And a whole bunch will be coming out.
So it means when I actually go to the farmers markets and stuff, I'll actually be looking for the first time with interest at seedlings.
Exactly,
and because we always sort of pass them like, can't grow them anywhere. Don't have enough room.
And then coming back with less from the farmers market, and you'll be getting more and more from here.
Yeah, that's the goal.
And there's a whole bunch of things that we can plant that is in your kitchen right now. So things that we can actually take out of the refrigerator or out of the fruit bowl and take those seeds from a lot of those fruiting veggies like the cucumbers and...
So we'll just have a quick look at the beds.
Corrugated iron garden bed.
Yeah.
And these are great. So we've got our barrier to help differentiate the garden versus the lawn.
Yep.
And that will help for the soil spilling out, because we're going to put our best soil on the top, and you've done a great job of putting a base down and leaving a good 150 mils where we can put our good soil. So we're going to put our good soil on top, and then we're going to feed it up with some molasses and some seaweed, and then we're going to put a mulch layer over the top of that sugarcane mulch to protect the soil, keep the moisture in there. And we've got some worm castings as well. We're going to put some worm castings, and ideally then we're going to then keep watering that. You guys will keep watering that with your watering can, and we're going to bring life to this top layer. And those roots from the plants are then also going to be bringing
strong enough to
sunlight
get down.
Down into the soil, and then it'll penetrate down into this base layer. So
I'll just say, like, everything he was just mentioning it's a recipe that puts it all together, and he's teaching it to me now. You can certainly learn about it in the course that they provide, but like all of this original soil came from where that concrete slab is that's still curing, that looks like it's got leprosy.
So I was feeling down to make sure, so what I think we'll do is I've brought the fork. I'll just put the fork in, wiggle it around just to get a little bit of movement.
Yep.
Not essential, because by the time we put our top layer on, this will ease up and open up, and once the roots start coming down here, then...
So that does help, because I've got a rake as well that I've sort of gone over a few times when I was first putting it. That'll help to make it easier for roots to travel. So this is like a lot of soil that came from under the slab there. So same thing again, 150 to 200 millimeters.
Seedlings are only going to be growing in this space anyway, so it really doesn't matter what goes down. In fact, we could bring the whole thing up off the ground and have a false bottom and be growing in there too. So it's not even essential.
Gotcha, to have all of that soil. Yeah.
But if we were buying it, I would suggest buying a lower quality soil, like a landscaping mix, a sandier soil for that bottom mix, and then buy a premium compost for this top layer.
We'll get into it and start shoveling out the living soil action, and we'll be back later. Now it's about choosing what we want to plant where.
Firstly, we want to space them out and sort of put them there, look what it's going to be like, visualize what that plant will look like when it's big. And if you don't know it, you could Google it, or you can look on the back of these, and they usually tell you it's like 40 centimeters this way and 40 centimeters this way. So then we're going to put our main things in, and then we'll find the gaps, and then we can put like little lettuces or little smaller things in. Let's just get planting. So it's actually super easy to do the plantings. We want to keep the stem really looked after, so we don't want to go upend onto the soil, but I need to upend to get it out. I'm just going to gently pop it out. And as seedlings, these are ready to go in the ground. I'm going to use my hand because we've got nice soil here. We could use a little trowel, and we're simply going to dig a little hole the size of our seedling, and we're going to pop it in there so that the base of it is now at the same level as the soil. And I'm just going to push the soil around it. A little press down, not too hard, not too soft, just enough there, and that's done. And then once this is all planted, we're going to come back and top it up with sugarcane mulch. So if we don't do it, nature will do it in the form of weeds.
But we have an offcut here. We have an offcut round the corner, but tell us what this is.
So this one is sweet potato. So this has, you could grow sweet potato straight from a root that's in your wherever you keep your sweet potatoes. And as it gets roots coming straight out of it, you can plant that. And then what it'll do is shoot up, plant a leaf like this. Then when this is a vine traveling through, you can just break off a bit of that vine. And I'm going to take off a few of these leaves here, and I'm going to actually plant that whole section in the soil.
What we're going to do, guys, we're going to go through and just basically plant everything. We've got 2 other beds. We don't need to go through the other beds and show you everything that we're doing, but you can learn so much more about all of this stuff through Craig's course. I've learned so much today already. It's sort of kind of blown me away. It's been all right, it's been a long day, but we have finally got it completed. The sun has now gone down, and but it's still pretty light on that camera, I know. But like, this is the end product of what it looks like here. If you want to turn around and you just want to explain a little bit about the sugarcane mulch, right?
Yeah, so underneath we've got our nice living soil. There's going to be an ecosystem and life forming under there, and then we're going to cover that up so they're nice and happy with this sugarcane. We like the fine cut sugarcane because it's easy to spread around our plants, and that'll keep them nice and happy.
So that's sweet potato, and it's got its own sort of area there.
Yeah.
That's oregano, so that's got its sort of own area there too. And then we decided also to put tomatoes up the back, because as they start to grow up, we can put a trellis on the fence and get them to grow against that.
We've got some beautiful chocolate mint here that we've taken from a cutting, so we've just popped a bit of the stem down into there, and that'll form some roots. So we'll see if that takes
Have we done
up.
that in a second?
We've probably got about 40 different varieties of food now in.
Very cool. Well, I think the thing I'm excited about is that because we've never been able to do this. We've lived in units all our lives, Bex and I, and so to be able to now grow a whole heap of this stuff, but also know, like, as a health professional for so long, I've just been a textbook organic health professional, knowing like I've never had the hands-on experience of really growing the fruits and vegetables myself. So that's going to be a big part of my journey over. But anyhow, I'm excited because I've got like an exercise set up here. We've got an ice bath, we've got food. Like, it's a pretty cool little backyard set up now. So big thanks, my man. Appreciate your time, man. This has been awesome. I appreciate it.
Exciting. I love seeing new gardens. And new gardeners. So it's really exciting. So thanks for having me out here.
Yeah, dude. Appreciate it.
Thank you.